Alrighty everybody, welcome back to Culz Checks Out. As promised, we're back with more Jurassic June related merchandise for the new Jurassic World Rebirth film. And back with my favorite dinosaur, Spinosaurus, which has quite a bit of merch coming out this month because it's back. We'll see how big its role is in the actual film once it's released and we can see it. But for now, we're getting some pretty cool looking figures. And today we're checking out one of the play sets, the Spinosaurus Danger set. So let's give it a quick look over on the box. Up top we see warning, choking hazard, attention. Then it has quite a bit of color on the box itself. On the one corner we see red, we see black, and then we see a silver that goes into a darker gray. And then down here is the artwork of the Spinosaurus, as well as it's made by Mattel. Across the line we see it is Spinosaurus Danger set. And of course the Jurassic World Rebirth logo. On the left side of the box we see it is red with the logo. And on the right side we see that it is black with the logo. Up top as well is red. And then on the back we see some art rendition of the Spinosaurus with the two characters played by Scarlett Johansson and Jonathan Bailey. We can see up top it says Jurassic World Rebirth. And again, there's that picture of the Spinosaurus. We see it includes a weapons case that we've seen in some of the trailers, as well as ScarJo and Jonathan Bailey there. And shows utility tool included. And then everything you get in the set right there. On the bottom it shows you how to put it together. Even though it's a smaller figure, you still got to put its tail in. And then there is its barcode. Alright, so let's get this one out of the box. Alright, so here we find the Spinosaurus out of the packaging. We'll do the action figures in just a second, but wanted to get this one in the wild before the storm moved in. And man, does it look really, really nice. Alright, and as for the figures, we got the figure of Zora here. You can see, I mean, I don't know what to say. I don't do a lot of action figure reviews, but figured I would show you guys. They do come with some like weapons and stuff like that. There's Zora and then Henry Loomis. It does come with a little weapons case, which you can store the knife and then the flare gun. Alright, so here we see it in full display. We can see some really nice coloration on the cell there with that yellowish orange and the tiger striping. It does differ from the other Spinosaurus figure, which is cool because there are multiple Spinosaurus in the film. So we get kind of a figure for almost all of them. We'll see if they release more post the film's release. And again, really nice detailing on the teeth. We can see the arms are in the right position. And it has a little bit shorter legs. But it does kind of stand in this crocodilian, I guess, just straightforward position. But once again, it has the updated tail and has paint almost to the end, like very, very close, like very nice detailing. You can even see the bones that would create the cell there. It doesn't have like an action feature like the other ones where you push a button, but its tail does swivel a little bit back and forth. And then, of course, the mouth opens and closes, but from the top, not from the bottom jaw. Alright, so we'll take a little bit more of an up-close look at the Spinosaurus. Again, very, very nice detailing on the teeth. Mattel has outdone themselves. Like, yeah, maybe it's not the biggest thing in the world, but just having nicer looking, realistic teeth, not these big, like, round knobs. It's kind of interesting, especially when you compare it to the early Hammond figures, which were really high detailed and stuff, but the teeth just kind of look wonky now and cartoony compared to these like basic line figures. We can see it has a short neck, and it does have a little bit of detailing, but this is the least painted part of the figure. It does have some white underneath, which carries along from the lower jaw all the way to the belly and stops off right before the chest area. But you can see below it does have some of those kind of like crocodilian scales that you'd expect on the bottom. It has a nice texture throughout. As we follow the cell, you can see some protrusions on the top and even a little notch right there, so you can maybe differentiate which one it is in the film, which is kind of cool. Like I said earlier, it does have the tiger striping, which is a nice detailing, again just differentiating it from the other figure. And then we see the yellow kind of bleeds into the tan brown below. Unfortunately, this one does not have coloring on the nails. You can see just the basic color there, though at least they're not giant and it can still stand, which is super cool. If you guys need the DNA, there it is. And then we follow that down. The tail has kind of a bend, and you can just see how nice that new updated Spinosaurus tail looks. It's really nice that they made it look as kind of accurate as they could while still keeping in line with the Jurassic designs. One thing again, it doesn't have the just single crested Spinosaurus is known for, but from head on here it looks really nice. Really not too thick of a skull, pretty thin. It does get kind of wide and wonky like people were talking about, but if you've seen one of the newer trailers, you see one of them has what looks to be a single crest, so we'll see how they appear in the film. But let's do some quick comparisons. So one thing I did want to point out that I noticed when I was getting the other figures to compare, while the top jaw does go up, you can actually have the bottom jaw go down further. So it is movable in both ways, as well as, I forgot to show you guys, the neck moves a little bit up and down. So on to comparisons. First we'll check out one of the smaller line figures from Jurassic Park 3. Since this isn't one of the bigger line Spinosaurus from this movie, I thought it was a fair comparison. And here you can see both figures, and obviously one much bigger than the other, one much more detailed, and of course this one has the open dino damage. Just such a pity with those. I don't really mind, I don't care. I know some people do, but there's a comparison there. On to the next, which has to be an older Mattel figure, and since I already did the Legacy one, why not do this battle damaged Spinosaurus? It's the same mold, so it doesn't really matter. Just it looks different, gives a little bit different spice to these reviews. And as you can see, being a small line figure, it's almost as long, but very much not as tall. And for the final, we gotta compare it to the other Spinosaurus, the tail thrashing one, the bigger line, which, as you can see, much bigger. It's a darker brown, different coloration on the cell and tail, as well as the neck there. Though head design similar in nature, though that one doesn't have any white on the bottom of the jaw like this one. So again, being that there are multiple Spinosaurs in the film, we just need a couple more released from Mattel to give us the whole pack. But yeah, there's a review of the Spinosaurus pack. Another really nice figure from Mattel, and again, being that it's my favorite dinosaur, super excited to get some really nice figures. But yeah, until next time guys, for more Culz Checks Out, click that link to your top left. For more about us here at Culz Paranormal, click that link to your top right, and don't forget to hit that like and give us a subscribe. And let us know, what do you think the Spinosaurs will be doing in Jurassic World Rebirth? And what has been your favorite figure released from the line? Tell us in the comments below.